for the intro, Bryn. I'm a program manager on the residential team. My name's Aiden Breen, and today we'll be talking about a new program we're hoping to launch in the coming weeks, and that's the Home Electrical System Upgrade Program. So just a brief agenda. We'll be going over the program's overview, requirements. You'll, of course, be hearing from Efficiency Vermont, from Green Mountain Power, Vermont Gas, and then we'll have some questions at the end, and we're looking forward to those. So let's get into the overview here. So a quick background that Efficiency Vermont and others on this call were provided with a new source of funding to basically support electric panel upgrades for low and moderate income residential customers. This offer is not open to commercial or business owners. Burlington Electric Department, Green Mountain Power, and Vermont Gas Systems will all be recipients of this funding and providing home electric system upgrades rebates for their customers. And we expect this funding to be available through 2026. So in a nutshell, the offer is we will be covering 100% of the project costs for a home electrical system upgrade for low-income customers and 90% of the project costs for moderate income customers. If you have a project that's over $10,000, that will require prior approval from the corresponding entity, so either Efficiency Vermont, GMP, or VGS or BED. If you're working with a rental property, the same limits above apply. They're just applied on a per unit basis. And if there's more than 5 units that you're working on at a rental property, there'll be some custom incentives as well. So here's the program requirements. Currently, we have a flood offer out in market for flood affected homeowners in the 2023 floods. It is open to low and moderate income customers, so those who are under 120% of area median income. And there's basically 3 reasons why a customer can participate. So if they're installing electrical equipment that has a large load, such as a heat pump or a heat pump water heater, and a panel upgrade may be warranted. If there are safety or service reliability concerns and the customer needs some electrical work done to have their panel function properly, or if the customer is thinking about future proofing and maybe they're considering an EV purchase down the road, that would also allow them to be eligible for this program. So the panel must be upgraded to 200 amps or up to 225 amps if that's advisable. And all in all, the project really just has to adhere to the allowable and project components, which we'll get into a bit right now. So here's just a brief overview of what's allowable. Upgrades to the service entrance, of course, to the electrical panel itself or sub-panel as needed to serve new and likely future loads. If you think an existing panel can be kept as a sub-panel, that's also permissible. Wiring to serve a new load, meter socket, and related materials such as a wood backer board, the customer-owned poles or conduit, which also includes trenching and backfilling, the service line from the transformer to the home or meter socket, and any costs associated with disposing of or recycling old equipment that is being replaced under the program. And then if there's other critical safety concerns, that's also permissible to address those. What's not allowed is upgrades to the distribution or service transformer, end-use equipment, such as an electric vehicle charger or home generator, and anything cosmetic. So basically new dry well or exterior siding. If there are some work being done for necessary weatherproofing to basically ensure the durability of the home and equipment, that is permissible. So now we'll touch just a bit on Efficiency Vermont's program design. So at Efficiency Vermont, we will be requiring that customers work with a participating electrician. So anyone who is an electrician must sign a home electrical system upgrade participation agreement to access program funding through Efficiency Vermont. We will be requiring a master electrician license or a journey person license. We are not limiting this to the Efficiency Excellence Network, although we will certainly be promoting this to the EN. And if someone wants to become an EE member, we would of course welcome that as well. And eligible customers will be instructed to hire a participating electrician who has signed the participation agreement. So as mentioned, we do have a rebate form out in market. It's just for flood customers from 2023, but it is on the website if you want to learn more under our rebates page. Basically, we ask that the form is not submitted until the project has actually been completed. So this offer originally launched in September of 2023, and we will be accepting projects up until October 31st, 2026. Rebate forms can be submitted until December 1st, 2026. So what you need to submit upon completion is the signed rebate form, which would include the electrician's signature and the customer's signature, as well as an itemized invoice. So just to give you a kind of a sense of what's on that actual rebate page and form, the first page has basically what's eligible for the project and how to apply, so the customer and yourself or the electrician gets a good sense of that. On pages 2 and 3, this is really just for the customer to complete and has them attest to their income level, ensuring they're low or moderate income. And on pages 5 and 6, this is for the electrician to complete and includes details on what was actually done in the project, has a summary of what's on the invoice. And then we would also ask, in addition to this form, that you submit a corresponding invoice. So really there's 3 reasons for an upgrade as we talked about, but just to reiterate, if the customer's installing a large load, such as a heat pump or a heat pump water heater, if they have existing equipment and you think this could make their service a little more reliable or safe, and then anything that's needed for future efforts or future proofing down the road. In terms of what we like to see for the details of the project, we would like to know the date the work was actually completed, the amperage of the panel before the project started and after, and then we have some additional questions on if the sub panel was replaced or the existing panel was replaced, and service entrance as well. So here's kind of the list of eligible work that can occur during an upgrade: the service line, customer-owned poles, meter socket, service entrance, the panel, wiring to serve a new load, and other critical safety corrections, and then disposing of old equipment. And then for the invoice summary that we'd like to have, we want to see a breakdown of the materials and parts costs, and then a total cost for all labor work, which would add up to the total project cost. So on the invoice, this would include a description of the electrical work performed, the amperage of the panel before and after electrical upgrade work, material and labor costs. If you had any subcontractors involved, for example, for trenching and backfilling, we would also want that on the invoice, and then your electrician license number, and of course the customer's name and address. So how does the payment process work? We've kind of have it going through 2 different processes, but basically you would put in, the customer will put in where they want the incentive directed. If you're willing to front the cost for the customer, you can enter your information under the rebate payee information section, and that would have the check directed to you if you're willing to front the cost. If payment is going to the contractor, Efficiency Vermont will be working to provide reimbursement to the contractor within 30 days of receipt of a complete invoice and signed rebate form. If payment is going to the customer, we'll just be using standard terms and we'll process within 60 days. So now I'll invite Green Mountain Power to come on and talk a little bit about their program design.
Thanks, Aiden. Good morning, everyone. This is Maddie from GMP's Energy Innovation Team. My email's at the bottom of this slide if you need to follow up or have any questions. Really appreciate Efficiency Vermont hosting the webinar this morning, and nice to see a lot of familiar names. GMP will be administering a nearly identical program to what Aiden just described. All of the program requirements are pretty much the same. For GMP customers who are at 120% of area median income, 120% is moderate income and below. So that same, if it's low income, they can have up to 100% of the project costs funded. And if they're moderate income, up to 90%, same thing applies for the GMP program. The one difference is that this is for GMP customers who are not receiving other services or incentives through Efficiency Vermont, such as weatherization, switch and save, or flood incentives. So if there are any GMP customers who are taking advantage of those other programs, we'll route them through EVT's program. For the GMP program, we'll be working with customers to verify their income eligibility before work starts on their panel or service upgrade. And we'll also ask that for every project that electrical contractors coordinate directly with GMP distribution designers so we can make sure that any make-ready work is taken care of, and that GMP will help coordinate payment for the make-ready work from the grant funding up front. We'll also be providing reimbursement to contractors within 30 days of the project being completed. We're planning to pay these incentives always to contractors and not directly to customers. So we'll honor that turnaround time for once a project is finished. The sign up or the rebate form will be also pretty identical to Efficiency Vermont's. There will be like a couple small changes, but we'll be working really closely with customers to help get those completed, but same invoicing protocol, and we'll be looking for the same stuff on the invoices. We'll also let you know when we're ready to roll this out. It will probably be sometime in October. So we'll be sending notifications out about that. But if you do have any customers or projects in the meantime that are sort of teed up and you need support on those or want to talk about eligibility, you're more than welcome to reach out to us, and happy to chat now. And that's all I've got.
So up next, I think we have Vermont Gas.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Well, good morning. Thanks to Efficiency Vermont for hosting this session. My name is Tim Perrin. I lead up our energy efficiency programs at Vermont Gas Systems. Our program design will be very similar to Efficiency Vermont's as well. We've actually hit the ground running already. We've been working with 5 contractors that we've recruited as part of our referral network, and always welcoming more. We're currently working through a backlog of around 25 stalled heat pump water heaters through the Switch and Save program. These are stalled because of electrical service work, panel upgrades, anything that might be needed from an infrastructure standpoint. So we've been working to play matchmaker to some degree, identifying customers that could be a good fit for some of the 5 contractors that we have, and providing a warm introduction. We really have modeled our HISU program similar to our weatherization program, where we know that it can be often confusing for customers with the various buckets of money that are out there. So we've switched to more of a concierge model of really being able to help guide customers through the process from start to finish. We're capturing income information as part of the intake process so that customers, contractors, and everybody else who's involved knows, will the customer be eligible for 90% or 100% of the funding through not only the home electrical system upgrade funding, but also through Switch and Save and other programs that have income eligibility to it. And thus far, every customer has opted to pursue the pay contractor directly option. We are affording customers the option if they want to pay out of pocket and wait for a rebate check. But as you can imagine, having to front maybe up to $10,000 is not necessarily appealing for LMI households. So we've been have an agreement in place to pay contractors directly and make for a seamless customer experience. I think that's it.
Thanks, Tim. We do have a slide for BED. I'm not sure if they're on the call today, but they will be developing a program down the road and expect to hear from them in the coming weeks to months. So
Hey, Aiden,
yep.
Chris Burns is available to speak for BED.
Okay, great. If Chris is on, happy to have him jump in.
Yeah, thanks, Aiden. And good morning, everybody. And thanks to EVT for hosting this. Don't have a lot to say because as we were designing this as the three entities, there was a strong desire to try to keep it as similar for the contractors and the customers as possible. So we are going to be nearly identical to our partners, especially Vermont Gas, because as most folks know, the majority of what heats Burlington comes from natural gas. So the only probably caveat for Burlington is, the contractors know the electrical permit issue through the Department of Permitting and Inspections. But we as well, would like to pay contractors directly. We will stay within that 30-day window, do better when we can. The other interesting thing for Burlington that we'll have to work through with contract partners is going to be a lot of our LI and LMI folks are in multifamily. So we're going to have to just figure out some of that. But looking forward to working with everybody and thank you.
All right. Thanks, Chris. I think we can open it up to questions.
Thanks so much, Aiden. Really pretty excited about this offer. Can you just walk through the effective dates? It looked like some projects might be retroactive. Can you provide some clarification on that?
Yeah, so we have a flood offer out in market. Right now, it's just open to flood impacted customers from 2023. We'll be opening up this offer statewide probably in the coming weeks. We don't have a firm date yet in October, but expect to have a program launched around October.
Okay. And so any panel work done before then, would that be eligible, or is that only for flood impacted customers?
Before that, I think it's just open to flood. But once we open it up statewide, any other project work would be eligible.
Okay, great. And then looking at Burlington Electric, Chris Burns just mentioned low moderate income. Are there any income eligible bonuses with this offer?
No, there's no bonuses per se, just because if a customer is low income, they'd be receiving 100% of the project costs, and if they're moderate income, it's 90. So it's already pretty healthy from an LMI perspective.
Great. I do see some questions rolling in. So Tori, I don't know if you want to jump in.
Sure. So we had a question about how this program will work for buildings that are not owned by customers, such as multi-unit buildings.
Yeah, I think if it's a rental property with 1 to 4 units, the incentive will be applied on a per unit basis, so up to $10,000 per unit. Beyond 4 units or 5 and above, the customer would be instructed to call Efficiency Vermont and work with us to get a custom incentive, and that process is kind of still being worked out for the final version of it, but there will be a custom process for larger installations.
And Aiden, if I can just jump in, that'll be the same for Green Mountain Power as well for any 5-unit and above multi-unit buildings. And then, of course, as with other programs, would need property owner approval for the work for the GMP program.
There were some questions about if we'll be reaching out to participants after this meeting and if the presentation will be made available. And yes, we will be posting this, the recording and slides on the Efficiency Vermont website. So we'll send that out once it's available in the coming weeks. And we'll also be following up with participants on this call with next steps about participating in the program. And yes, we'll provide, there was a question about providing contact information specifically for Vermont guests, but we'll provide contact info for everyone on this call. So for Efficiency Vermont, Green Mountain Power, Vermont Gas, and Burlington Electric. I see a question about the relationship between Efficiency Vermont and the utilities. So when to use EVT programs versus GMP. So if you want to touch on that, Aiden.
Sure. Yeah. If a customer is participating in Efficiency Vermont's other LMI offers, such as switch and save and weatherization work, they'd be going through Efficiency Vermont. Otherwise, if they're not participating in those offers and they're a GMP customer, they'd be going through GMP. And if it's VGS, there's another layer to it where if they're working on a switch and save project, they can go through VGS, and for BED, it's also they should be working through for BED.
Yeah, and I would thanks, Aiden, and I'll just add that you can always, you or the customer can always reach out to any of us to find out if there's any question about you know which program or who they should go through, and we can help sort that out on a case-by-case basis.
And that's also a benefit of being a Efficiency Excellence Network member, is you have an assigned account manager that you can call or email to help you navigate that too. So one of the member benefits is you have a direct point of contact internally that can help get those answers for you.
Not seeing any other questions at the moment, so we'll just maybe see if any more roll in. So there's a question about rentals. Is this assuming that tenants are paying / requesting for the work to be performed? So the work is actually the project is actually specifically with the property owner. So it would really be the property owner who's the the primary customer on the project and making the decisions about the work. Hope that helps. So if you're working with a rental property and working with a tenant, recommend having the tenants, the property owner reach out because the project should really be directed by them.
Yep. And for rental property owners, there are a different set of income requirements. It's based on the rent level per unit, and we can provide more information on that once the statewide program launches. But instead of the individual customer's income, it's based on the actual rent per unit.
And yes, just clarifying, the program is for residential households only. So again, that could be single family or multifamily, but the program is not open to businesses, to commercial buildings. Here's a question about, will the 2024 program rollout also be for flood areas only or statewide?
It will be statewide.
And we'll continue to offer, we'll continue to support customers impacted by floods. Currently, the eligibility is the 2023 floods. But yes, with the rollout of this new with the program in October, it'll be a statewide offering.
Aiden, would you mind going back to the slide where it shows the scope of work that can be covered with the incentives?
This one.
I think
One more back,
before,
maybe.
yeah, there we go. Awesome. It's really helpful to kind of have this this list to look back on. And I'd say if there are any contractors that are having that have questions or aren't sure about completing the forms to access the incentive, to reach out as well. We always want to make sure that you're able to navigate those fairly easily, and that we have the information we need so we can process it quickly and smoothly. And there's another question that just came in.
Yep. So the question is, how will contractors get matched up with customers or projects?
Yeah, so we're hoping that after this presentation, you're interested in enrolling in the program and signing a participation agreement with Efficiency Vermont. We should have a participation agreement ready in the coming weeks, and we'll be recruiting contractors to participate. So once a customer calls in, we would see who's actually signed the participation agreement, and we can reference that list to the customer, and they would be asked to reach out to anyone who's signed the participation agreement.
And that's a great question. Following up on that, Aiden, for EEN members, they've already signed participation agreement and a trade group addendum. Would they still be needed to sign this participation agreement?
Yep, this one has some terms specific to the home electrical system upgrade program, so that there will be an additional agreement needed.
Okay, that process should probably go pretty smoothly since we already have a certificate of insurance. And if I've looked at the licensing with the state, though, is there anything else beyond that that we would need document-wise from the participating contractor?
Document-wise, I don't think so. The main thing, just on the rebate form itself, we'll need your electrician license number. But those are if we already have your COI and your W-9, those would be the two big pieces of documentation we'd need.
Great, and it looks like Maddie might have something to add.
I was just going to grab one of the next questions.
Great, go for it.
Hi Hans, thanks for your question. For GMP customers, it's okay if a customer is engaging with you to get work scheduled. We just ask that before work starts that they reach out to GMP to get their income eligibility verified with us before the work starts. And we'll be detailing that. We'll have clear documentation and process for customers to follow. But yeah, we do want to hear from everybody before work begins, just so we can make sure all the boxes are checked. And for any coordinating any work that GMP needs to do too.
And since folks didn't see the question, I'll just read it out. So customers will reach out to power companies for prior approval before contacting an electrical contractor for the service upgrade or other work. I'm sure there are probably a couple different avenues. Customers might reach out directly to contractors, in which case you yourself as the contractor, or you can direct the customer to reach out to the Green Mountain Power specifically, but to the utility company, just to make sure all the bases are covered there. Really great questions. there's anything else that folks have, we do have more time to cover any other nuanced questions that you have. That was a great time for those. Because I'm sure also if you have the questions, I'm sure many other people on this webinar will have them too.
Yeah, just going back to payment real quick, if you do want to get in touch about direct deposit and receive reimbursement from Efficiency Vermont, direct deposit might speed things up. So just putting that out there as an option instead of waiting for a check. But
yeah, that's a good point. Direct deposit really does speed everything up quite a bit. And when at least when Efficiency Vermont requests the W-9, we can also send a direct deposit form through our DocuSign portal so that everything is secured when we send and receive that information back. We've got another good question about timing. So is there, yeah, just answer ask the question. Is there a sense how long pre-approval will take?
Shouldn't take long at all. It's a really simple self-attestation income verification process. Probably what ends up taking the most time is, we want to make sure that you all are working with distribution designers so that if a transformer upgrade or a service drop upgrade is needed, that we have time to get those quotes turned around. So just that typical length of time for working with the designers.
Great. It looks like another question, Aiden. So we have Green Mountain Power, Vermont Gas, Burlington Electric on this call. Does this offer also cover other areas of Vermont? WEC, Vermont Electric territory, et cetera?
Yep. So if a customer is not specifically part of GMP, VGS, or BED, and if you're referencing the entire state, then basically outside of those service areas, Efficiency Vermont would be supporting those customers. Again, there is a little more nuance to it than that, and we can help walk the customer through which entity they need to contact to work with specifically. But yes, this is a statewide offer.
Thanks so much for the clarification. Tori, I'll hand these other ones off to you.
Sure, yeah. So we had another question about multifamily homes. Is the goal of the program to provide each unit with a 200 amp distribution panel, regardless of size?
Yes. So essentially, we'd want each unit to have the equivalent of 200 amps in their unit. So if that's feasible, that's what we're requiring.
We had another question, just a clarification. So this program is only for licensed master electricians, correct? So a customer should be aware that a contractor they use or have used in the past might not qualify.
It's for licensed master or journey person electricians.
And again, the Efficiency Vermont will have the list of participating electricians posted for a customer to review if they're looking for a contractor or if they're working with GMP or VGS or BED. They can get help connecting with a contractor as well. We have one more question for future scheduled service upgrades after signing the form. We can offer this to customers scheduled for that have a project scheduled after this launches. Correct.
Yep, after this launches, that would be an option for the customer to go through.
Yeah, it's helpful to keep an eye on the terms and conditions for when the start date is and when the end dates are. Some additional questions.
Yep. So a question about, it's my understanding that you can be the contractor and sub a master electrician and or a journey person. Is that accurate?
I believe that is okay if you needed to sub out work. We would just need that electrician's license number and to see that on the invoice.
Great questions, everyone. Keep them coming. Aiden, how will customers hear about this offer?
Yeah, so we'll be posting this on Efficiency Vermont's website, and I imagine GMP and others will also be marketing this as well. I don't think we're gonna market this extremely heavily in the first month it launches, but probably, you know, maybe a few months out, we'll have a mailer as well to customers advertising this program.
Great. And then as a question with the partnership with our utilities, will they just need to sign one participation agreement?
Yeah, so for Efficiency Vermont, we'll be requiring a participation agreement. I'm not sure if GMP and others are requiring that, but for Efficiency Vermont, we will be. I welcome anyone else who wants to chime in. Please do so.
Yeah, we're still nailing down the details on if we'll have a participation agreement, but we will definitely let this group know directly.
Same for BED.
Same for Burlington Electric. And Tim, I'm not sure if you're able to respond.
I know that Tim mentioned that BGS has they have their own contractor network. It sounds like they have 5 participating contractors so far, and welcome more.
Okay.
We did have a question about should the electric contractor be part of the program, regardless if you are a sub or not? I would say yes. We welcome any eligible electricians to become part of the program. So if you're subbing on one project, but you want to lead another project, that would set you up nicely. There's a question, will a similar program be coming for EV charger installations? So Maddie, I don't know if you can speak to that on the GMP side. Nothing for Efficiency Vermont, but if there's anything from GMP.
Yeah, right now, GMP, we have our existing EV charger incentive where with the purchase of an EV, GMP provides customers with a free level 2 charger. We don't cover installation costs. However, if there is any utility make-ready work or distribution upgrades needed in order for the EV charger to be installed, GMP covers those costs, but we don't cover the cost of the installation itself. And that's been our long-standing incentive that'll continue into the foreseeable future. Drop a link in the chat.
Thank you. So covers the equipment, but not the labor.
Correct. Yep. And also covers any like if a transformer upgrade is needed, or if the EV charger is necessitating a panel or service upgrade and there's GMP make ready work that's needed, GMP would cover that make ready work for the utility costs.
Great. Thanks for the clarification. And I'm gonna also help with getting that link you just dropped to the group. Anything else? Now is not the last time to ask questions. Certainly is a great time since we're all here. But certainly as other things come up, we'll be available to answer them too. And then there's some additional EV questions, Maddie.
That's correct. This program could cover, yeah, if the service upgrade was needed, like labor and material costs for the service upgrade. That's correct. This program could cover it for income qualified customers. So we could kind of stack the incentives together. Get the free EV charger from GMP, labor and materials for the service upgrade for income qualified customers through this program. And then GMP would help cover if there were any ineligible costs. Like, for example, this program does not cover transformers, GMP would cover those costs. So yeah, there's some stacking that could happen. And that's where we can help with that if there is a project that has a few different elements. Yeah, happy to work with you all to figure out how to stack the different funding sources.
I see one more question about the nuances of having a master's license and being able to sub work. So just to clarify, for the Efficiency Vermont participation agreement, we are requiring that you or your company employ an electrician who holds a master's electrician's license or journey person. So the contractor who has signed the participation agreement needs to meet that requirement. So again, just to clarify, you need to, if you're subbing out that work, you still need to meet that requirement yourself in order to be a participating election.
Vermont also has reciprocity. So we look for Vermont licensing, and if there are licensed electricians in states where we have reciprocity, we will likely accept that as well. We do for the Efficiency Excellence Network. All right, maybe we're rounding things out. Thanks so much, everyone. Aiden, if you want to skip to the end with your contact information slide, we'll just get that. Oh, we lost it. But please reach out, give us a call if you're in the member network, reach out to your account manager, and otherwise, you can directly contact Aiden. We'll make sure you are able to get the appropriate contacts for GMP, BGS, and BED. We want to make sure that you're getting the support that you need to navigate this new incentive, some of the nuances of it as well. But we do want to make this as seamless as we can, since it's a very new and again, a very exciting offer. So thanks so much for the interest. We should be posting this recording probably within the next 2 weeks. If you have interest to get access to the recording or to the slides ahead of time, just please reach out to us and we'll make sure you get that right away. All right. Chris, Maddie, Tim, thanks so much. Aiden and Tori, I'm really happy to have your lead on this from Efficiency Vermont too. So, all right, everyone, have a great day, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.